Hey, junior English students. As we start this unit on reading the news and we start doing responses to the news, I thought that it was a good idea for us to get started by looking at the parts of a news article. So this first lesson is going to look at three parts of a news article that you see at the beginning of the article: the headline, the byline, and the lead. So the first part is the headline. The headline is the title of the news article. It tells you what the article is about, and it doesn't need to be a full sentence. It appears almost always right at the top of the news article. So some examples are Raptors win the finals or Coyotes return to Toronto. These are both real headlines. So let's look at the article to the right and see if we can identify the headline of this article. So if you look at the article and you see, and you said that Toronto Raptors beat Golden State Warriors for first ever NBA title was the headline, you were correct. So that is the headline. And again, it's basically the title of the article, and it doesn't even need to be a full sentence, right? So that big bold text at the top, that's always going to be your headline. Next is the byline. So the byline, you can see the word by in it. It tells us who wrote the article, who the article is by. It usually appears right under the headline. And there's an example here in this article as well. So take a second, see if you can find the byline. So if you said it was this bit that said by Associated Press, right here, you were correct. And what's interesting about this byline is this one doesn't say, by John Smith, the name of the author. Instead, it says by Associated Press, which is a company. So you might see something like that in a byline. Next, we have the lead. So headline, byline, the third thing you're going to see is the lead. The lead of the article is the first sentence of the article, and it really catches the reader's attention. And it's going to give us our 4 W's: the who, what, where, when. Now, often we want to know the sort of why of the story and the how as well, but that's not going to usually come in the lead. The lead is just to catch our attention, and then we can explain the details later in the article. So looking again, what is the first sentence of the actual article that we see here? I know that in some ways it looks like that bit that says Toronto Raptors, forward, Kawhi Leonard, center, and it goes on. That's actually a description of the picture above with Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry. The lead actually is this part right here. And we can tell that's the lead because it really gives us a who, what, where, and when of the whole story. So Oakland, California, Kawhi Leonard raised his arms high. He was celebrating the Toronto Raptors' first NBA championship. And finally, let's see if we can identify the 4 W's of the article: the who, what, where, and when in the lead. So we're still just looking at that highlighted blue part, the lead. So who is this article about? Well, again, let's read the lead together quickly. Oakland, California, Kawhi Leonard raised his arms high. He was celebrating the Toronto Raptors' first NBA championship. Now, who is this article about? Personally, when I look at this, the first thing I see is Kawhi Leonard, right? One of the star players of the 2019 Raptors team. So we could say Kawhi Leonard, but in this case, it's really important to say Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors, because we can tell from clues in the rest of the article, like the title or the headline that we talked about, the picture, and if we read a little bit further into the article, we can tell that actually this article is going to be much more about the whole Raptors team winning the NBA title rather than just about Kawhi Leonard. So what is it about? That we kind of just talked about. It's about the Raptors celebrating and winning their first ever NBA championship. And you can see that also right in the lead. Where is it happening? You can see those first two words there. This is sometimes called a place line. This is something we didn't talk about, but sometimes news articles will do this. They'll start right away by saying where the article happens. So in this case, Oakland, which is a city in California. So that's the where of the article. And when. So in this lead, I'm actually not seeing a when. So Oakland, California, Kawhi Leonard raised his arms high. He was celebrating the Toronto Raptors' first NBA championship. But we don't see exactly when that was happening. So where else can we look to see when this took place? To me, I'm seeing one clue in the byline where it says 06, 18, 19. So that would be January, February, March, April, May, June 18th, 2019. And I also see it underneath the picture there. And when the article goes on to talk about, a little more detail about what happened, we can see the date given again. So the byline doesn't say, but we know that this was in 2019 by getting clues from the rest of the article. So your job now is to finish the worksheet that is attached to this assignment. So next time you do a news article response of your own, I also want you to look at that worksheet. And the worksheet asks you to identify those 4 W's: who, what, where, and when, and to explain what cues and clues you use to help you know that answer.